This episode is brought to you by Netflix. 3 couples, 4 vacations, a lot to unpack. Watch The 4 Seasons, a new series starring comedy favorites Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Will Forte, Coleman Domingo, and more in a hilarious and heartfelt love letter to long-term relationships. Based on the original Alan Alda film. Watch The 4 Seasons, May 1st, only on Netflix.
At Sephora, we've got what you want because you're obsessed with your skin and we're obsessed with what it needs. Sephora has the best products to help you get beautiful, glowing, radiant skin. With an extensive, inclusive range of results-driven formulas and in-store beauty advisors to help you find exactly which are right for you, the best skincare is only at Sephora. Sephora, for all your skincare.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Everybody, welcome to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of your hosts. To my right is a man who's trying to find 99 other dudes to fight a gorilla, Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are we doing tonight?
This topic has taken the internet by storm. As a matter of fact, another podcast, I'm not going to shout them out for like the 3rd consecutive week, but I was listening to a podcast. If you've listened to recent episodes, you know which one it is, but they were dissecting. They're like, I don't know how we would do it. Would you send 10 men in waves? Because they're like 100 people. They're not going to be able to communicate well enough to take down the gorilla. Because the gorilla is basically like a Hulk. Very interesting topic, but Ryan and I won't be getting into that on this show. We have other things to discuss, but I am doing well, sir. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. Getting good grades. Future's so bright. My shades are in my car. We're got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to have the final grades for our teams for the NFL draft. We'll talk about Mel Kiper's meltdown during the NFL draft. We'll actually get to talk about MSG Network avoiding bankruptcy, might be being sold to Yes Network, and we're going to reveal our movies. You can watch along with us this summer as we review for our No Ticket Required summer movie series. And one more thing, we'll talk about our favorite athletes to wear the number 30. But before we get on with the show, we just want to remind you, because we got some business to take care of, just want to remind you to follow us. Follow us on social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Search for No Credentials Required. And also on Belly Up Sports, find other podcasts and written articles on bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, you can subscribe to the podcast on any of the following platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. And don't forget to hit that notification bell, both on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when we go live, when we post videos, when we have show announcements. Get that notification. It comes up, and you can watch along with us, tune along with us, and just look for the announcements on social media. On the podcast side, rate, review, comment. 5-star rating would be very, very helpful. A review would be very, very helpful if you can leave it. And if you're on Spotify, leave us a comment. You can comment on the most recent episode. You can also leave a comment on any of the episodes in our archive. We might even read it on the air. And also, we are a live show. Tuesdays at 6:30 Eastern, Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern for the Saturday brunch. You can live comment. We've already got a comment rolling in. We'll get to that in a second. But Dustin, hand on my non-existent watch. Actually, it tells me on my cell phone that it's time for a certain for some music. I think
it sounds like it's chime time.
It certainly is chime time. And as I mentioned, we got comments in the comments section. Sick Diggy joining us, friend of the show from Norway, says good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And he also says, somebody called tag along. We need a certain cat to steal the show. Hate to tell you they're sick, but tag along is currently snuggling with my sister in her bedroom. So
that's what he likes to do.
He likes to do that. He's a snuggle bug. That is for sure. All right, we're going to talk about the NFL draft. We're going to summarize everything in a nice little basket, nice gift basket. Put a bow on it. And talk about the final draft grades for our teams. Last night, I know, Dustin, you are one of the contributors to Seahawks Sessions. You couldn't make it to their show. It's in the archives from bellyupsports.com, one of our many podcasts here. Seahawks Sessions, which is hosted by our friend of the show, Staniel Smooth, and his other podcast, Time to BS. So we're going to talk about our respective teams, give our final draft grades for our teams. Dustin being a Seahawks fan, myself being a New York Jets fan. I do want to add, though, one team that I have in mind that had a really great draft.
Okay.
The New York Giants.
Yeah, the Jackson Dart pick, I didn't mind. I liked what they did at number 3. And then getting Cam Scatabo, that's a pick right there. It could be.
That might be one of the guys I might recruit to fight a gorilla with me.
Yeah,
Cam Scatabo.
Yeah.
I would recruit him to fight a gorilla with me. So, but in all seriousness, the final grades for our team. I'm going to have you lead off, Dustin. Why don't you go ahead and talk about the Seattle Seahawks, how you feel they did in the draft. Give them a final grade on your.
Well, the thing is, and I am going to kind of keep it brief because I don't want to steal all the thunder from my cohorts on Seahawks Sessions. They went in depth for about an hour and a half on the Seahawks draft. Well, as is Staniel's want to do, he there's movie reviews in there. There's a bunch of stuff in there. Go listen to it. It's a great episode, but there's a lot of Seahawks draft talk. But I will say, I tentatively, when the first 3 rounds were done, I felt like the Seahawks were having a B+ draft. B+ almost shifted them. The only thing that I took them down from an A to a B+ is the tight end pick. The tight end pick at the time, it didn't really. I didn't understand why they were doing it. I still kind of don't. But he is a very big body, and he is. He's going to be able to. Apparently, according to Kevin, his blocking is not too good. But the big body, hopefully he can contribute, and he has a little speed. He can run. So overall, and there's people that know football, college football especially, a lot better than me. But I would give the Seahawks an A. Because they finally addressed the offensive line. They addressed it in recent drafts with Charles Cross. But picking Gray Zabel, everybody seems to be very high on Gray Zabel. I mentioned how Steve Hutchinson was very happy with the Gray Zabel pick, and he is now an offensive line consultant, I believe, is his role with the Seahawks.
Yep, you mentioned that on Saturday, yep.
Yeah, so, the other thing is I really liked the pick with Jalen Milroe because I think he will be given time to develop behind Sam Darnold. Ideally, if Sam is successful in Seattle. But the one thing, and I know Staniel and Kevin already spoke about this.
Speaking of Seattle, I gotta show you my shirt in just a second. I'll let you finish, and I'm gonna let you finish, but I got a shirt to show you.
all right. But
Beyonce is the album of the year. Go ahead.
But they drafted a fullback as well. So you could say they want to run the ball. They drafted a receiver who I like a lot. He's probably going to be a special teamer for the Seahawks from what I read. But the thing is, Tyler Lockett started out as a punt returner, and we all know how that went. But what really takes this draft over the top for me and gives them an A, it's basically the Gray Zabel pick, but it is also because apparently he was at the top of their draft board. So they're drafting for need and also the most talented player on their draft board. He was at the top, but the Seahawks did something that they did not do at all in the Pete Carroll era. They traded up and they went and they got Nick Emmanuri, who was considered by many to be the best safety in this draft. And this could be a potential home run. And he has garnered, I've seen this online and they talked about it on Seahawks sessions. Again, go listen. There's a lot of meat in there, which is
not
why I'm
right now, but
brief.
chicken later. Go back,
Yes.
go listen later.
Yeah, after the show, go check it out. But he drew some comparisons to Cam Chancellor, and I know that it's early, and I know that, but the fact that they were trading up shows that it's a start of a different Seahawks regime. Even though John Schneider is still there, maybe he's finally finding his footing. He's finally and they started the draft with 10 picks. They ended the draft with 11 picks, which they used because even though they traded up, they ended up making a trade with the Browns and they got picks. So I just liked the direction that they went in this draft. You never know. Hope springs eternal with all these picks. Some of them could be busts. Some of them could be rousing successes. But overall, I like what the Seahawks did. And you could see that Mike McDonald and John Schneider are starting to put their imprint on this team. And Jalen Milroe, hopefully, because, the Seahawks, people were talking about how crowded the quarterback room is. They made a draft day trade and they got rid of Sam Howell. He's no longer on the roster.
Sam Howell.
And they welcomed back. They welcomed back Drew Lock. So hopefully his second stint in Seattle goes better than his time with the Giants last year. So Milroe will be given some time to develop, and I think he could be an absolute beast. Trading up for Nick Emmanuri, the Milroe pick and the Gray Zabel pick are enough. Along with what they did regarding trades and other picks, I think they get an A from me.
It's my turn. Talk about my New York Jets. And I said on Saturday, and I'm going to say it again. They're building a wall. It's a big, beautiful wall.
Oh,
Man-meat wall.
I
forgot to show you my shirt.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It looks like a Sonics. Oh, what does it say on it, though?
Tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
Oh,
it's a Fraser Supersonics crossover, baby.
I know. Well, here's the thing, and you may hate me for this. That is a really cool shirt.
Thank you.
I never got into Fraser. I never did.
That's
never
okay.
did.
It's not for everyone.
Yeah,
not for everyone. But I personally love Frasier. I thought Frasier was a really well written show. Actually, I think it lasted longer than Cheers.
Yeah, I think it did. But
all right, time to get into it with my New York Jets. And I have to preface this by addressing my fellow New York Jets fans. All right. Every time I saw the Jets pick, I would see comments of, this isn't the right pick. You should have picked this guy. Why are you picking this guy? Why is this guy being selected? I don't understand this pick. We need a quarterback. Shut up. Let me ask you a question. All right, let me ask you a question. Simple question. Are you Aaron Glenn?
No.
Are you Darren Muji?
I am not.
Are you a scout, or have you ever been a professional football scout?
I played one in a movie called Trouble with the Curb. I was the stunt double for Clint Eastwood, but no, I am not.
Oh, I wasn't talking to you personally. I was addressing my fellow New York Jets fans out there. No, you are not. You don't know how you're going to build this team. Keep talking about quarterbacks. Keep talking about we need a game-breaking tight end. We should have picked this guy. We need a wide receiver. All right, we addressed a lot of the positions that the Jets needed to address. But for you to nitpick every single selection like you do every single year,
yeah,
this is year one of not so much a rebuild, but a reset. You have to give time and patience to Aaron Glenn. You got to give time and patience to Darren Muji. I understand our team has not been in the playoffs since 2010. The longest playoff drought in professional sports. And I actually asked for Blaine, co-founder of Belly Up Sports, to put up a poll on the Belly Up Sports Twitter account, asking which team would break that streak first. You know who the majority picked?
Who's that?
The Buffalo Sabres. Because people hate the Jets that much. All right, even our own fans hate this team that much. But listen, let's have some patience. Let's have some trust. All right, we got some of the pieces that we have in there. We just need some help, and we need some depth in certain places. You can't nitpick. And this goes not only goes for Jets fans. This goes for the entirety of fans in the league. Okay. You can do all your mock drafts. You can do the mock drafts all you want. I've done mock drafts before myself. I did a couple for the now dormant Victory Monday. I did my mock draft the last couple of years.
Yeah.
They didn't quite pan out. Although I did nail the Garrett Wilson pick in 2022. I did say we go at 10. And thank you, Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Thank you, John Schneider. Thank you, Jamal Adams. But every single pick just nitpicking and saying we should have picked this guy. We did this. All right. Trust the guys we have right now.
Yeah.
And let's build upon it and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what it comes down to. Were any of these picks sexy? Were any of these picks flashy? No. As our friend of the show, Jeff Levac from the Levac and Gods program, I'm hoping to bring in on Saturday morning when Dustin's not here. You can have a boring draft. You're allowed to have a boring draft because that tells me you're doing the right things.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't fantasy sports, okay? This is
not Madden.
Yeah, this isn't because you get caught up in it, and I've been a part of it to bring it into the fantasy realm for a second, which we usually don't. And I gotta credit Matthew Berry, the prettiest girl in the bar, with this one. But he said it. He said, if you know that reference, we can be friends. But he said it, and it's true. A lot of times when you're putting together a fantasy team, you want to make the pick that makes everybody go, ooh. Yeah. You get caught up in that. That's what you want people to do. You want to pick the sleeper. You want to pick the upside pick that everybody's been talking about. And guess what happens? A steady pick that's been consistent for years passes you by. And that's the way that fans watch the draft. Every fan wants the pick that makes everybody else go, ooh, I wish we got it. These guys are trying to keep their jobs. They're trying to keep their jobs and build a team long term, which we'll get into. It is an imperfect science, to say the least. And anybody that thinks they know exactly how to project players, guess what? They don't. They don't.
And we'll get to somebody who projects picks for a living in on the next segment in just a moment or two. Yeah. But I gotta continue about my Jets. All right.
Yeah.
So first round pick, Armand Membu, stud, absolute stud. 8 pressures and 372 snaps, 0 sacks last season. Second team All SEC. Awesome. Second round pick, Mason Taylor, son of Jason Taylor.
Yeah, told me that.
This guy's going to be a stud. This guy is going to. I think he's going to break all sorts of records for Jets tight ends. Ty Conklin is going to be there for another season or two, but he can learn the system. He can learn how to block, how to be a better blocker. He's going to factor in, I think, in the future the New York Jets at the tight end position. They need to bring somebody in because Ty Conklin is, as a veteran, he did great last year, but they let go. They just need somebody. They need to bring somebody in, and he's going to be projected as a starter in the next couple seasons. So that's a great pick. Let's see. Third pick, Azare Thomas, Florida State. He's going to be on the left side. He's going to be on the opposite side of Sauce Gardner. They need a cornerback after losing DJ Reed. This guy's sticky, just like just like one Sauce Gardner. 4th round pick, Arian Smith. And this was the one that made me, this was a pick that made me go crazy in terms of the fans being fickle. They were saying, I go, oh, this guy had 8 drops last year. I looked at his stats, all right? I did the real-time research. 48 receptions, led the team in receptions, yards, and touchdowns receiving. Yes, he had 8 drops, 72 targets. So for every, he had 1 drop for every 9 times he was thrown to him.
Yeah.
Or towards, or around his way. All right. So we can work on that. All right.
Well, yeah. And I just want to interject for a second to say, with the right coaching, issues like that can be corrected because, as they mentioned on Seahawks Sessions, and it's the last time I'll reference it because you should go listen to the show. But guess who else had a drop problem when he was at Ole Miss? It was DK Metcalf. But he figured that out once he got to the NFL level. And also, Ryan, there was a certain New York Giants running back who was prone to fumbling. Tom Coughlin figured that out.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, do you seem to recall that? Oh no, I lost my 3rd example. Well, that's how it goes.
That's how it goes, Michelle.
Oh man, that's how it goes.
He'll come back to you. He'll come back to you.
Me at 2:00 in the morning.
But the thing, yeah, exactly. And he'll text me at 2:30 in the morning. I remember my 3rd example.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that the Jets were all over. His 40-yard dash was 4.36. That's fast.
Yeah, that's real fast.
That's fast. 5th round pick, Malachi Moore, University of Alabama. He got that Bama in him.
Mm-hmm.
They needed him at they needed some safety depth. They lose Tony Adams, they lose Ashton Davis. 2nd team AP All-American, 1st team All-SEC. Led the team with passes defended. Team captain. Like, this guy just did everything. And I will say, Malachi Moore had pretty much the best day ever on Saturday, because not only did he get the selection to pick, actually the best weekend ever. Not only did he get selected by the Jets, got drafted, he also got engaged. So congratulations, Malachi Moore.
Congratulations, yeah.
6th round pick. I think the 5th round pick or 6th round pick. Round 5, pick 26, Francisco Mauigoa, University of Miami. The U. Brought in as a run stopper, pure run stopper. No, he's not going to. No, the Jets needed a coverage. They needed a coverage linebacker. They didn't get this time around, but they needed a guy who could stop the run. I think he's going to be moved in. I think he could possibly be moved if he gains like another 20 pounds or another 30 pounds, because he's listed at 6'2", 233. They could use him. They needed a run stopper, and he's a run stopper. 2nd team all ACC, led the team with 96 tackles. Solid pick right there. Brought in for depth. 5th round pick 40, Tyler Barron, edge from the U. Again, depth pick. He has potential to be a starter. 4'6", 40-yard dash at 6'5", 258 pounds. Kid is tall.
Mm-hmm.
Kid is tall. Honorable mention, all ACC, tied for the team lead. His brother plays in the Canadian Football League.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, as a rookie, you have the opportunity to become great. And I graded the Jets as a B+ on Saturday. After the first 3 rounds, my grade stands B+. B+ draft. You're not gonna find everyone you want to get right away, or the pick. I mean, Membu, he'll be a starter. Week 1. Mason Taylor, he'll be a full-time starter within the next 2 years. All these other guys can work their way into a starter role or be in a depth role. But first draft for Aaron Glenn, Darren Muji.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good draft, I would say.
Darren and Aaron. It sounds like a sitcom, like a buddy cop sitcom.
He's loose cannon. He's a straight shooter.
Yeah,
and Aaron.
And I remembered my third example, and it's to me the most ridiculous one in recent memory. Remember when Jamar Chase had trouble in the preseason and early in his rookie year catching the ball, and people were like, "Oh, it's because the Pro Ball doesn't have the stripe on it." Jamar Chase is fine. He just made a lot of money.
Yep, exactly. Both he and T. Higgins just made a lot of money. We've discussed that on the show.
Yes.
Comments in the comments section. D's Ray of Sunshine. She says, hello, chat. Hello, D. Julie also saying hello. Say his name and he appears.
Yes.
I believe in Daniel Smooth. He says, who had a worse crash out? Skip Bayless, it's my turn. Or Mel Kiper over the weekend. We'll talk about that in a second.
I haven't seen the It's My Turn.
He also says 11 of these picks for the Seahawks can see significant playing time. Some of them may even start.
Yeah, that's he's referencing the Seahawks picks.
D's Ray of Sunshine. D's saying Ray of Sunshine saying, I hope Jalen does well in the Seahawks. Yeah,
me too.
She's from Alabama, so she knows Alabama football.
Yeah, me too. And they drafted one of his teammates as well.
I can't get to all these comments, but I'll get to them. I'll get to as many as I can. Stanley Smooth saying, fullbacks meat. And as I like to say, reference Mr. Simon Miller, my fellow bald a-hole friend. He says, big men slapping man meat. like in wrestling. D complimenting my beard once again. Looking great this week. Thank you, D. And Dustin's hair looks great too, okay?
Well, it's getting a little long, and I was going to say it's been a topic of controversy for a long time on this show. When I get back from my trip, I will be getting a haircut.
All right. Well, I'm next time we see you, might be wearing your Oilers hat. Well, if it's or another hat if they're still in the playoff. Or
hey, the Oilers came back to tie it.
They did,
baby.
They did, baby. D also says roll Tide. Kevin Wilson from Seahawks Sessions from Belly Up Fantasy Baseball saying, he agrees with you. My rant about my fellow Jets fan being fickle. He says, Daniel Smooth saying, I'm Daniel Smooth and I approve this message. She also says it's easy to hate on the Jets. Of course it is. It always has been.
Yeah. Love all the engagement in the chat, by the way. This is
Sapna, the pink hand of Sapna has appeared saying sports ball. Uncle Al chiming in saying, I know zilch about college football. Do you think Jackson Dart was a good quarterback pick? Yes. I'll tell you why. Hang on 1 second.
He was projected by some to go to the Seahawks at 18, Uncle Al. So the Giants traded up a little bit and they got a little bargain, I think. I like zilch.
Yeah. So apparently what happened was I'm paraphrasing a lot of this, but I saw this on Giants 365 on Twitter. They talked about how Brian Daboll sent a package to Sanders, to Shadur Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
And that when he showed up for the meeting, he was completely unprepared and Daboll called him out.
Yep.
So I think that's the reason why Jackson Dart was selected.
Yeah. And also this is not new. We saw it on Hard Knocks offseason. They sent a package to Jaden Daniels and all the quarterbacks that they were looking at last year. And I think if memory serves, some of the receivers as well.
Yep. Yeah. That's what happens. They send their package ahead of time. They want your players to be prepared. I also saw a really interesting meme on graphic on The Athletic. They were mentioning that Shadur didn't have an agent, and he treated all these meetings like a recruitment trip, and not like a professional sit down meeting. And that was the biggest turnoff from a lot of the GMs that they interviewed with. D saying Malachi Moore was one of the most solid safeties ever at Bama. Congrats to the young man. Uncle Al saying Coughlin is a cure for fumbleitis. True. And I gotta get to this before he has a conniption. Stick Diggy with an ad. The comedic brain fart by Dustin is brought to you by Clearwater Laxative. When things get muddy, Clearwater is your buddy. Clearwater Laxative. And Ocean Breeze Wet Wipes. Wipe it up and wipe it clean. Available in Ocean Breeze, lavender, and hot cinnamon. Ooh.
Put me in for the hot cinnamon flavor.
Yep. and Uncle Al says, good on Dable. Yeah, absolutely good on Dable.
Yeah.
Oh, and Sick is asking about this, but you've talked about this before in the show.
Yeah.
He says, I wonder what Dustin would look like with some facial hair, but not a mustache alone, however.
It's not good. It's not good.
It's not great. From what I don't know, I don't think I've ever seen you with facial hair.
No, I wouldn't allow it. I wouldn't allow it after that 1 year experiment. But then again, my buddy Chris told me that I just had to commit to looking like an a-hole for 3 months. But I'm not ready to do that. Because I told him it wasn't growing in, and he goes, "No, you just it'll get there." He goes, "You just have to look like an a-hole for 3 months." I'm going,
God.
"No."
Well, here's sorry. So I'm gonna give you all some pro tips from the growth section over here. Okay.
Yeah.
This is to my fellow male audience. If you ever want to grow a beard, we'll get to the Mel Kiper thing in just a second.
Yeah.
Like we have in our headlines here.
Yes, we will get to it, but this beard talk is important.
Yes, beard talk is very important. And again, I'm not selling out. I'm buying into any beard product companies who want to sponsor this beard on no credentials required. The trick is with the beard, you have to let it grow in. You have to get past the itchiness point, which is about a week in. You have to get that past that itchiness point. Once you get past the itchiness point and just let it continue to grow, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. Keep it maintained. Get yourself some beard shampoo. If you can, get some beard conditioner you can leave in. And just nice brush of like one of those boar hair brushes. Get one of them. You can use a beard trimmer. You can use scissors too, to keep it maintained. So there you go. Some free advice. You're welcome. And again, any beard product companies who want to sponsor this beard, this handsome face, on no credentials required, hit us in our DMs. Hit us in our DMs.
Yeah, please. We would love it. And except for me, because when I tried to grow a beard, it was what I would like to non-affectionately refer to as a weird beard. But if you have beard products that can help, by all means, reach out to us at No Credentials Required.
Yes, absolutely. Hit us in our DMs, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Dee's also asking if is a hot cinnamon wipes like Fireball cinnamon whiskey.
There was an April Fool's joke for Dollar Shave Club one year, and guess what? People thought it was real. They're like, "Why would you do this?
Why wouldn't you do this?" Yeah. Have you seen the SNL commercial for the Jack Black doing the hot Cheetos preparation age?
Oh yeah. I usually make it a rule, whatever excluding the Minecraft movie, whatever Jack Black is in, I usually try to at least check it out.
Sick also saying it could have been worse, Dustin. Who remembers Cody Rhodes sporting a mustache in 2012, 2013? I do. Oh, and Al saying Ryan can get beard sponsors and sell advertising space on the top of his head, just like I can.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
All right. We're gonna get to the topic of I want to say the main topic, but the conversation with the topic of the title of the show, the Mel-tdown. Mel Kiper Jr. loses it on air during the draft. Now we're not going to play the clip because we're going to get dinged if we do, because YouTube has standards, and those standards. I'm not going to say it, but right after Shedeur Sanders got picked, and I'm not sure who started the conversation, whether it be Reese Davis Jr. or one of the or Lewis Riddick. Reese Davis or one of the other, or Lewis Riddick Jr. or one of the other panelists, but they were, part of it would say they were busting his chops. The other part was semi-serious, saying, "Look, Mel, you got this wrong. You had him projected as a first rounder. You had him projected in the top 10 of this draft. You said he was a no-brainer. He was all generational pick, all this, all that.
Yeah.
And he went up sliding to the 5th round.
Yeah.
to go to Cleveland of all places. That's circus of Cleveland called Cleveland.
Yeah.
And he just lost it. You can look up the clip yourself. Like I said, I'm not going to play it because we'll get dinged for it. But poor Reese Davis is trying to talk him down from the ledge.
He was.
As he's having this conniption. He's like, look, we get it. I'm not saying, I agree with you. They shouldn't have slipped this far down. But like, he kept going and going and going.
Yeah.
Which begs the question to you, Dustin, and to our audience, if you're listening later on the podcast side, if you're watching live and you want to get a comment in. Mel Kiper's been doing this for 40 plus years.
Yeah.
He's been doing the projection thing for the NFL draft for at least 50 years. Is it time for him to put the pencil down and just go somewhere else? Someone else?
I mean, possibly. And I get there's a lot that has been said about surrounding the Shedeur Sanders slide.
Yeah. We talked a lot about this on Saturday too.
Yeah, and there's there are multiple factors going on. I don't think there's no denying that, but people have been making comparisons to the Mannings and the way that Archie went about trying to influence the Eli situation, and they're making comparisons to this. I'm not going to get into all that because those speak to bigger issues. However, Mel had Shedeur projected as the number 1 overall quarterback in this draft. Mel Kiper knows more about college football than I'll ever know. But what struck me about this clip is that it was clear that it was a personal affront to him. Now, so I think to answer your question, Ryan, and Mel's been a staple of draft coverage for my entire time watching football. Mel Kiper was synonymous with draft and ESPN for me. And I liked a few years back, he and Todd McShay, when Todd McShay was still at ESPN Networks, they had some bits. They had a little nice little back and forth. And I looked forward to watching Mel Kiper on the draft. He's one of the reasons, honestly, I'll say it. He was one of the reasons why I stayed with NFL Network, or not NFL Networks, ESPN's coverage of the draft. In later years, I have shifted to NFL Network now, and because I like to listen to Rich Eisen talk. But this was, he said, the part that he said in the clip, and like Ryan said, go look it up yourself. We can't play it here. We'd love to, but we can't. But the part that he said the NFL has been clueless on how to evaluate talent for 50 years. And he said, we know what we're doing. But Mel, you have made a ton of mistakes in perfect science. There are clips all over. And if you say things like this, people are going to come for you. This is not 1983 anymore. This is the age of the internet. People will compile all of your misses and they will remember them. Like when you said Johnny Manziel should be in the first round, when you advocated for a selection of Brady Quinn, when you said that you would retire if Jimmy Clausen was not a Hall of Famer when all was said and done. You have missed 2, Mel. So to sit here and say that the NFL and the GMs and the talent evaluators are completely clueless on how to evaluate talent, they are doing this for their job. You are too, but they are doing it for the actual teams. I saw a comment from Dee's Ray of Sunshine. She said that Sanders has himself to blame for the slide. That is true. There are other factors. I'm not going to sit here and deny that. People say that Archie Manning was hands-on with his sons, and he was. There's no denying that. Did he use some of his NFL contacts and the power of his name to maybe flex and have some influence? 1,000%. But the difference is, he did not coach his sons at the college level. No. His sons had other influences. And guess what? Shedeur and Shiloh both said Shiloh hired another agent because he said, Dad's my agent. It hasn't worked out too well. I'm hiring another agent, So even they're kind of, whether it's tongue in cheek or not, they're kind of acknowledging like, hey, this is hurting us a little bit. But it's Shedeur's conduct. It's Shedeur's conduct and the way that he conducted himself. Now, are there other factors it mixed in with that? Probably. But the fact that Mel Kiper would basically in the same breath, even after, so he clamors the entire draft for Shedeur Sanders to be drafted, right? I remember watching the beginning of the third round. He goes, I can't believe Shedeur Sanders is still available here. I can't believe it. I'm shocked. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened. So what would you think he'd do when Shedeur finally gets drafted? This is your chance, Mel. This is your chance to go off about how talented Shedeur is and how big of a miss, in your opinion, this was. I mean, Sean Payton said it. Sean Payton came out and said, everybody's got to watch out because Shedeur is going to be motivated now. And I'm telling you, this kid has talent. Now, he didn't go out and say that he would have drafted him. And plus, the Broncos have their quarterback. Yep. He did very well last year. But yeah, Mel went too far in. And I'll let you speak on this, but I just want to say how personally he took this. I think it indicates it might be time for him to step away. He might be not able to keep that line between, viewing a different evaluation people have as a personal attack instead of just a job.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and tell a man who was well established in the draft. I've been watching Mel Kiper since I was in high school. Like I remember the 1995 draft well, and remember him remember projecting Warren Sapp to be a top 10 pick, and he went all the way down to, I think, somewhere in the he went to Tampa Bay. But I remember when the Jets were up, I'm like, oh, come on, you gotta take him, Jets, you gotta take him. They took Kyle Brady. And I remember, and then Warren Sapp, I think, went right after him. And both men had decent careers. Yeah. Warren Sapp especially had a great career in Tampa Bay. Kind of flamed out when he went to Oakland.
That's a little bit, but Oakland was a tough place to play back in that time.
A tough place to play. Yeah, exactly.
Randy Moss did nothing there, and then we saw what he did after leaving Oakland.
Yeah, but when your misses are, like I said, I'm not gonna tell you how to do your job. I'm not gonna tell you whether you need to retire, whether you need to step aside, maybe let Todd McShay take the reins as the primary guy to do all your draft prognostications. But when you have a record of having so many well-documented misses, and I'll give you some examples here. Julio Jones, he said the Falcons paid too much to move up to number 6 when Julio Jones was being drafted. They gave up 2 firsts, a second, and 2 fourths. Julio Jones is going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You said David Carr was going to be the next Troy Aikman. Nope.
Yeah.
Jimmy Clausen, as you mentioned, the retirement section. When he said if he would be the most successful quarterback after 8 seasons, and not Mel Kiper would retire. And where's Jimmy Clausen now?
Yeah.
Mike Williams, who has since left this realm, never had the career that panned out. No. Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah.
We all know his story.
One. Yes.
And Andre Woodsworth, who Mel Kiper rated higher than Peyton Manning in 1998. He's basically a weatherman at this point. He could be so wrong about so many of these prognostications and how careers are going to work out. Yeah. But he still has a job.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing too that aggravated me, because He said, "Oh, we know exactly what we're doing." No, you don't, because it's an inexact science.
Yeah.
You are just as liable to get it wrong as any of these guys trying to do this. These these people.
And more than anything, with this rant that he had after Shedeur finally got drafted, 5 rounds into the draft, finally gets drafted by a team that already picked a quarterback in the 3rd round. They picked Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah,
this is the Cleveland Browns quarterback room this season, right at recording time of recording. Deshaun Watson, who won't see action in 2025.
Yeah, he won't be there.
Joe Flacco, he's elite. Kenny Pickett with his tiny hands. So I've been told. Dylan Gabriel, who took in the 3rd round, he's the left-handed quarterback out of Oregon and Notre Dame and Central Florida, and now Shedeur Sanders. And I think a lot of what we had in regards to Shedeur Sanders was just hype. And part of that hype was Mel Kiper Jr. saying he's going to go 1st overall. He's a can't miss prospect. And the fact that he had this meltdown on air after he was drafted.
Yeah.
It's telling me that you are unwilling or can't or won't admit that you were wrong.
Yep.
And this temper tantrum, it's what it is. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
It was a temper tantrum on air, live, for the entire world to see, between the national stage and the internet. Your temper tantrum for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, however long it was, is now in eternity. And if this is the last time we see Mel Kiper on air, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because he's been a part of our lives as far as the draft goes. He's been a part of our lives for 3 generations now.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember, I don't remember seeing this live, but I remember in 83, it's been in documentaries, Elway to Marino. I think that's where the clip is from that I'm about to reference.
Mm-hmm.
But the Colts, Kiper skewered the Colts in this clip, and then the Colts GM comes back and he says, who the heck's Mel Kiper? And
Ernie Accorsi, future
and
New York Giants GM, by the way.
And, he's got a point. He's got a point. Nobody knows for sure. Now, was it widely assumed that when the Broncos drafted Tim Tebow that it was way too high? In the 1st round, they drafted him, and when people already had concerns about Tebow. Yeah, but we could have all been wrong about that. It could have gone another way. You just don't know. A lot of people projected Ryan Leaf over Peyton Manning. Guess what? He was drafted 1st. The Chargers felt good enough. The Chargers felt good enough to draft Ryan Leaf over Peyton Manning. And everybody makes fun of that now. But if you go back to 1998, the Chargers were not the only ones that felt that way. No one knows.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows until the career's over. So, some more comments before we go to break. Let's see. Yeah, D-Ray Sunshine saying, honestly, I hope he's motivated and I hope he does well. Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm not going to fault. The kid's got a dream.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fault him for it. But yeah, he has himself to blame for not being humble enough to hire an agent or also treat his meetings in a professional manner.
Yeah. Yeah, he was taking phone calls during the meetings.
Taking FaceTime calls during the meetings.
Yeah.
Your Uncle Al saying Jamarcus is a lot of misses, and D saying exactly, Ryan, it was a temper tantrum. He threw his sucker in the dirt because it didn't go the way he wanted.
Yeah.
And you should never throw your sucker in the dirt.
No.
It's like waste of a good sucker. All right, we're gonna go to commercial break. When we come back, we'll reveal our movies to watch this summer. and review with us on No Ticket Required. We'll talk about MSG Network possibly being sold to the DS Network, and we'll reveal our favorite athlete to ever wear the number 30. I'm getting the Homer alert button ready for myself. Just a warning for you. So stay tuned and stand by for more No Credentials Required.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
All right, folks. We haven't advertised SeatGeek in a while, so we're going to throw them some love. They're another one of our premier sponsors here at Belly Up Sports. I've used the code. Dustin's friend Kenny, he used the code.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Scott used the code last time he went to a Thunder game.
Yeah.
SeatGeek, NBA, NFL, Stanley Cup playoffs are in full effect. Major League Baseball playoffs are in full effect. I guess the NBA playoffs are in full effect too.
You always take the shot.
I got to take the shot. I hate the NBA right now. But yeah, if you want to go to your desired sporting event, whether it's local, national, take yourself to SeatGeek.
Yeah.
And you can use their pricing tool to find the best seats at the best price that you and your family could afford. Save yourself some cashola in the process by using promo code BellyUpSports at checkout. You get 20% off your order of $50 or more. But it's not just sports.
No,
It's not just sports where you can get your discount. You can also look at Broadway shows, musicals, comedy shows, concerts.
Yeah.
I don't know what the big tour is this summer, but whoever that band or performing artist is, you can find those tickets on SeatGeek and save yourself some cashola with the promo code BellyUpSports at checkout.
Mm-hmm. I know Weird Al's touring.
That's
Where
right,
is he?
Weird Al.
Is he in your town? Go on
Coming to our
SeatGeek
town.
and find out. Yes.
He's coming to our town.
Yes.
Yeah, baby. I forgot when he's playing though. Weird.
I think it's August. Summer season of the concerts, season of SPAC around here, and also season of SeatGeek. Use them to get tickets to a comedy show, whatever you want.
Yes, exactly. Belly Up Sports is your promo code at checkout at SeatGeek.com. Again, use that pricing tool, get the best seats for the best value for you and your family or your friends, whoever you want to take to a game. And as per usual on this show, SeatGeek, you get the No Credentials Required seal of approval. I looked at the date for that show.
Uh-huh.
It's July 17th. You know who's also going to be in town July 17th?
Who's that?
At the Funny Bone in Albany.
Oh, is
Patrick Warburton.
Warburton?
Oh,
Buddy himself?
I am so torn. I'm so torn. Your Uncle Al saying "Waste of a Good Sucker" is the name of my next album. And he's going to the concert in July.
Yeah,
Weird Al.
He'll be there.
All right, we're gonna reveal our movie list for No Ticket Required. So we go ahead and play that bumper, that beautiful, beautiful bumper.
Yeah, cue it up.
Cue it up. All right, this is our third season of No Ticket Required. And this segment came about because the Yankees were terrible in 2023. They were like, I don't want to talk about the Yankees anymore. Neither do I. You want to watch the movies and figure out, watch movies and review them? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So if you want to go back in the archives, this is what we've reviewed so far. So in 2023, we reviewed Air, A Story of Greatness, Moneyball, King Richard, which I can't go back and get those 2 hours and 25 minutes back. Miracle,
And a corn.
Can of corn. Miracle. Chariots of Fire. Ford versus Ferrari. Hoosiers and A League of Their Own. Last year, we reviewed Goon, Rush, The Boys in the Boat, The Iron Claw, I, Tonya, Mr. Baseball, The Program, and American Underdog. So this year, you are welcome, audience, both on the podcast side and on the live stream side.
Yes.
And on the replay on Belly Up Sports YouTube. You are invited to join us, watch these movies. We come back the following Tuesday, and we review them. So here is our list. Got a pen or a pencil. Well, we'll post them on social media too.
Yeah.
But if you want to grab a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper, write these down. And this will include the dates that we're going to review them. So this is going to start on May 27th. Tuesday, May 27th is the day after Memorial Day. We'll be going all the way through for 10 weeks, ending on July 29th.
Yeah.
Because there's 5 kind of Tuesdays in July. So we've got a really good schedule of movies. So here we go. On May 27th, we will review Draft Day, starring Kevin Costner.
That one's for you, Mom.
That one's for Lauren.
She had a massive crush on Kevin Costner. Did she see his band Traveling West? Yes.
I can't blame her. He is dreamy. The following week on June 3rd, which is actually the same week the Belmont Stakes will be in Saratoga, Seabiscuit. Shout out to Tracy, Dustin's sister. She's the one who recommended this.
Yeah.
The next week, June 10th, Youngblood, which is a hockey movie starring Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze, and a very young Keanu Reeves.
Nice.
Yeah. And Cindy Gibb. How you doing? The following week, June 17th, we review Blue Chips, starring Nick Nolte, Shaquille O'Neal, and Penny Hardaway.
You're welcome, everyone.
Yes, you're welcome.
I have it on DVD.
No. Oh, no. Just wait till the following week. July 24th, we end the month of June with No Holds Barred. Starring
I still
Hulk
can't
Hogan.
believe we're going to do it. I still can't believe we're going to do it.
And this is a callback to our deep dive on the No Credentials Required special when we review Mr. McMahon.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be one of two things. It's either gonna be really awesome. This review's gonna be really awesome. It's gonna be our favorite movie, or it's gonna be our least favorite movie, and we're just gonna be like, why did we review this movie?
Yeah. Like I told you via text this afternoon, I'm not looking forward to watching this. I'm looking forward to reviewing it. And we do have a guest who joined us for a review last summer. He is returning.
Yes.
We're not gonna spoil it, but if you go back into the archives, you'll be able to figure it out. But notice he did not pick that movie, Ryan. He is not joining us for that one.
He didn't want that smoke.
Yeah.
All right. On the following week, July 1st, Invictus, starring Matt Damon, and Morgan Freeman. The following week, July 8th, Varsity Blues with James Vanderbeek. I haven't watched that movie in a long time.
I know.
I'm looking forward to it. The following week, which is the All-Star day of the All-Star game, July 15th, The Rookie with Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, love that movie. Oops,
Great movie, lots of heart.
Where will it rank? Who knows, though.
That's right. We do rank these movies. By the way, still hate King Richard.
Yeah.
Slap Will Smith for that one. The following week, July 22nd, we will review The Natural, starring Robert Redford and Glenn Close. Looking forward to that one with Wonder Boy. It's the secret of your... Okay, can't sing it anymore. And July 29th, the final week of our installation of this year's installation of No Ticket Required. Remember the Titans with Denzel.
Yes, those of you who have attended past iterations of my Super Bowl party, you might know that for a couple of years, we just watched this movie before the game.
So there's your 10 movies. I'll repeat them one more time. And this will be the order in which we review. Draft Day, Seabiscuit, Youngblood, Blue Chips, No Holds Barred. And I just want to say it like that. Every time I say that movie, I'm going to say it like that. Shout out to Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah.
Invictus, Varsity Blues, The Rookie, The Natural, and finally, Remember the Titans. We might actually do some bonus content because the day after our final episode of No Ticket Required, Happy Gilmore 2 comes out on Netflix.
Yes. Yeah. We might have to slot that one in there as a little bonus.
Absolutely. So there's your 10 movies that we're going to watch this summer. Again, we'll post them on social media on all of our platforms that we're on. We'll also, and again, watch along with us. Watch along during the weekend before we review these movies. Then come back 6:30 Eastern time the following Tuesday. We're going to review these movies together. And you can jump in the comments if you're watching live with us. You can also leave us comments on social media when the podcast comes out. So that's so there you go. No Ticket Required 2025. Enjoy. All right, we're going to go to this segment real shortly. Madison Square Garden Network, owned by one Jimmy Dolan of what's his band? Jimmy and the Straight Shooters?
Straight Shots. Dang.
Yeah. On Friday, the news came out because Friday's always a news dump day. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what you follow, whether it be politics, sports, business. Friday's the dump day because nobody's paying attention. But I found this on New York Post that Madison Square Garden Network, they'll be avoiding bankruptcy, and it's very possible that they may be sold to Yes Network. Now, I kind of have a feeling this is going to be possibly happening, considering that we had the Gotham Sports app, which was released last year. For the low price of $450, you can enjoy annual access.
That's ridiculous. The Gotham Sports app. I was watching a Yankee game and they advertised that on Yes. I was like, for Nets and Yankee games, get out of town, man.
For Nets, Yankees, Rangers, Islanders, Sabres, Devils, and Knicks games.
Oh, so you can currently watch all of those on the Gotham Sports app as presently constructed?
Yes.
That's still not a bargain, okay? I'm sorry.
No, because I will only watch two of these teams because either I don't care about basketball or, okay, so I'll say this. I'll only watch the Yankees and the Devils because I hate the Rangers. I'm indifferent about the Islanders, but we are united in our hate for the Rangers. The Sabres, I'm indifferent about because it's Buffalo. That's damn near Canada. The Knicks, they're okay. They're entertaining. And the Nets belong in New Jersey. Okay, so there you go. You know what this kind of reminds me of? The fact that Yes Network might be buying MSG Network. It reminds me of that meme of Squidward looking out the window in his shades and he sees SpongeBob and Patrick playing. And I just imagine the caption Sports SNY where Squidward is. Mm-hmm. And you see Patrick and SpongeBob with MSG and Yes Networks frolicking outside. I actually may make that meme.
Yeah. Maybe you just birthed it, you know.
I just birthed it in my head.
Yeah.
But this is. I wouldn't say it's a no-brainer. It certainly is. You kind of think, all right, this is probably going to be in the works because the fact that the Gotham Sports app does exist. Does that mean that MSG Network and Yes Network get rebranded as Gotham Sports? Do we have multiple channels now? Like we have MSG Network 1, MSG 2, Yes Network,
MSG Plus,
MSG Plus. Like do
yes
all
2.
these do all these networks get rebranded? Do we stay with Yes Network? Is Yankees coverage going to be? And that's the ultimate irony, is that Yes Network was created because Yankees couldn't strike a deal with MSG because MSG used to broadcast their games because it used to be the cable rights were Sports Channel. Remember Sports Channel is one of my favorite networks ever. Sports Channel, then MSG, and then they couldn't strike a deal with MSG, so they just created their own network, which is basically their revenue stream.
Yep.
Which is why they can have have so much money. What's why they're valued at what they're valued. So the fact that the MSG Network is going to be saved by Yes Network and be bought by them is just kiss.
No, it is. It's very ironic. And Ryan, isn't there something now? I can't remember, but didn't old Mr. Dolan, lovely that he is, didn't he have like fees if you wanted to? There was something like if you wanted to, as part of the negotiations, there was like MSG Arena fees that you basically had to pay too. There's some sort of fee that I think that I read that he's finally willing to waive, which is like allowing this merger to go through. But I can't remember, and I could be conflating.
I'll bring it up.
I could be conflating it with something else. Yeah.
So this is what it is. So in accordance with the bankruptcy and getting credit from JP Morgan Chase, they have agreed to cut media rights fees after their debt restructure. So they'll be cutting the rights fees for media for Knicks games and Rangers games. Okay.
Yeah, because I remember listening to a podcast all about Mr. Dolan and how crazy he is with like just the prices he would charge for people to come into the arena, and just I forget what it was called, or else I'd recommend it, but it was a great podcast. It was about a 12-episode series all about the incompetence of one James Dolan. And remember when he kicked Charles Oakley out of MSG, everybody? like just ridiculous.
Yep. I remember that. But yeah, this is just interesting that Yes Network might buy the network they went away from when they couldn't agree to media fees, and they just said, nope, we're gonna make our screw you, we're making our own network.
Yep.
And now they might buy them. They might buy them.
Yes Network, established in 2002, the year I graduated high school. That's why I remember it, because I watched a lot of Yes games, Yankee games that summer. And I also remember, shout out to Tom Breslin if you're watching, buddy Tom. He was watching Yankees classics on Yes, and his brother goes, "Why are you watching these games? They already happened." He goes, "It's because it's great. The Yankees always win." I was
Good
like,
answer.
He's got a point.
Good answer.
He's got a point.
And here's the thing. And you know what the funny thing is about Yes Network? It had the same theme for Yankees games since 2002.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're going to stop.
And then they had John Sterling. How many Yankeeography episodes did you watch? I watched a few of them. And then then what was that Center Stage with Michael Kay? Did you watch any of those?
I remember. Yeah, I've watched those.
Watched a few of them.
All right, we got some comments we got a lot of comments in the comments.
We do.
Gotta try to catch up on them. Uncle Al's saying Yankees look pretty good right now. 6-0 against Baltimore in the third. Yep.
It's 7-0 in the fourth now. I have it pinned to my phone.
Yeah, and Julie's saying that Baltimore is really struggling. I think we ought to do a service to our friend Eric Garditti and bring him in next time you're here. I think next Tuesday you're back. You said, right?
Yeah. Next Tuesday's show, I'll be back. Yeah.
Let me talk to him. I'll see if he's available. I'm pretty sure he's going to break down, because he's like, we talked about them when the World Series, and
I did too.
You got that stink on you right now. Actually, you said you're going to win the World Series. I said they were going to go to the World Series.
Yeah. You had them losing to the Dodgers, I think, and I had them beating the Dodgers. I had them. I thought they had enough.
You did. We put that no credentials required stank on them. You're welcome. We got a lot of comments in regards to movies. D saying Kevin Costner is so dreamy.
Yeah.
And she said your mom has good taste in crushes.
She did. I guess.
6 saying the review of Varsity Blues will not require anybody sporting a bikini Sunday. Although D went on to say, but wouldn't it be awesome to see the hosts sporting bikinis for the Varsity Blues review? No,
I mean,
it wouldn't.
I mean, the problem is, D, I don't think I could get my hands on some cherries before the review.
If you're looking for a body type that I have, D's, I think Otis from WWE of Alpha Academy. That's my body type right there. By the way, Otis, he's my dog. He's my spirit animal. She also says if you want, I can send you a bootleg copy of King Richard, Ryan, since you loved it so much.
You were so mad. You were so mad. I went in for.
Want me to suffer, D? I mean, come on.
I remember your eye. There was a little light that went out of your eye when I ranked King Richard above Moneyball. That's how much I disliked Moneyball that year, and I could see the light fade from your eye a little bit.
And we had a comment. I think it was Chris Dietz who said, "Guys, avoid Moneyball. It is the worst."
I know. I agreed with him. I agreed with him.
I put Moneyball above King Richard. That's how much I hated King Richard. All right, we're gonna close out the show with our favorite athletes to wear number 30. I'll start off because I got to boogie on out and help my dad with something.
Yeah.
But I'll start off, and I'll preface this with Homer alert. My favorite athlete to wear number 30 is the GOAT. The goalie GOAT. Goaltender GOAT. Number 1 in wins all time in the NHL. Number 30 for the New Jersey Devils. Number 30 on the roster. Number 1 in your hearts. Martin Brodeur. Rookie season leads the Devils to an Eastern Conference final. Should have gone to the Stanley Cup final if it wasn't for that Stefan Matteau. To hear that damn call forever. But that's okay. The next season, they got their revenge. They went to the Stanley Cup final. And they beat the Detroit Red Wings in 4 straight, as I've talked about on this program before. Also won in 2000, Stanley Cup in 2000 and 2003. And in all 3 of those seasons, he could have won the Conn Smythe Trophy as playoff MVP. Did not win any of those seasons. Claude Lemieux won in 1995, Scott Stevens in 2000, and J.S. Giguère, the goaltender of the losing team, in 2003.
Yeah, that one
got the Conn Smythe Trophy. And that still grinds my gears.
Yeah. No, I understand that. Even I was rooting, I hate to admit it, Ryan, but I was rooting for the Ducks in that series. But even I was baffled how Jean-Sébastien Giguère got the MVP trophy for that one.
No, but he was my favorite goaltender through those heyday seasons of the New Jersey Devils in the mid 90s, going into the early 2000s. And he transformed the sport with basically being a third defenseman, because his stick skills were amazing. Like for a goaltender, his stick handling skills, his puck handling skills were top notch. So much so that they had that Fakata trapezoid in the back of the goal when you watch hockey games, and you see that zone in the corners where goalies can't go anymore. Reason being is because of Martin Brodeur. When the opposing team would shoot the puck deep into the corner, Marty would go to that corner. He would stick handle it, find another defenseman, get it out of the zone. And by the way, you don't really need that trapezoid anymore. Okay, NHL, you don't need it anymore.
Yeah, stop the trap.
Watch out. Yes, the trap stuff. I mean, I could rant about that all day, and how the New Jersey Devils did not ruin hockey in the late 90s, early 2000s. People say, "Oh, I hate the Devils because they ruined hockey." They didn't ruin hockey. The trap's been around forever. You just found they were just really good at implementing it.
Yeah, they were effective at using it. Yeah.
And effective at using it. And Martin Brodeur being the last line of defense for so long. And it shows, his record shows as top wins leader in the NHL all time. And arguably one of the greatest goaltenders of the generation that I watched. So he's my favorite number 30. Your Uncle Al saying that Willie Randolph is his favorite number 30.
Ah,
good choice. Solid choice.
Good choice, but I didn't see Willie play. I only remember him as a longtime Yankee manager, obviously, and or Yankees bench third base coach. I think he was for a lot of
Mets
years.
Manager, yep,
and then Mets manager, yeah. And Willie, I still feel like Willie Randolph got a raw deal
he did
in his time with the Mets. This is funny, Ryan, because the synergy that we are experiencing this show without communicating. I'm also picking a hockey player.
Hey,
I'm also picking a goalie who wore number 30, but it is not Martin Brodeur.
I think I know who it is.
Yeah, you probably know who it is because I shouted him out.
You did
for another show. And then as I started going through number 30s in my head, I said, you know what? Now's his time. I'm picking a man who is 4th all time in career wins. So he is behind Martin Brodeur, but he is no slouch himself. The Eagle, one of the best nicknames in all of sports. The Eagle, Eddie Belfour, for 17 years. He played remarkably consistently well for a lot of for I remember him on the Blackhawks and the Dallas Stars, but he also played for the San Jose Sharks. He also played for the Florida Panthers, and he was in Toronto for a while with the Maple Leafs. I will have to ask Brent if he had faith when Easy Eddie was in net for the Leafs, because I would have. And guess what? We might get another goalie down the line. If you know my fandom of teams, wait about 5 shows. You might be able to figure out who I'm going to pick for 35, but that's neither here nor there. This is Eddie's time. Consistently, his career save percentage, Ryan, 906. Nice. 906. His goal allowed average 2.5. 2.5. Pretty good. Eddie Belfour just was so good for so long. And for the second fantasy reference on this show, when I was getting into fantasy hockey, I did play fantasy hockey for a few years, and I had no idea. I was like, I don't know how to do this. But for goal, I picked Eddie Belfour because I was like, he's usually pretty good. And guess what? He was good. He was very talented. I understand he's gotten into some trouble, I believe, in his personal life. There's been some struggles, but who among us hasn't struggled? We are all human after all. When it came to tending goal, the Eagle flew high for 17 years, especially with the Blackhawks and the Stars. I remember him being very, very good at that time.
Also won a national title at the University of North Dakota.
I did not know that.
You know.
Did not know that.
I will laud Martin Brodeur statistics. 691 wins all time.
That's a lot.
Only 397 losses, 154 ties, finished with a 2.24 goals against and a 9.12 save percentage.
Yeah.
Marty's
so he beat
better.
out the Eagle. He beat out the Eagle, yes, but I got to give it to. I knew you were going to pick Martin Brodeur, so I said why, and also it made sense because I had already shouted out Eddie on a previous episode. Clearly, I had a soft spot for old Eddie Belfour.
Well, I have a feeling I know which goalie you're going with a goalie in the next episode for number 31. So, but you won't be here for number 31.
Oh no, number 31. I already got somebody else. You're going to be surprised with this one.
So,
probably not.
Comments in the comment section before we get out of here. D's Ray Sunshine saying Ryan sporting a Speedo with that beard because Sicknicky saying actually in the case of both hosts there would be Speedo Sundays. And D saying Ryan sporting a Beardo with that beard. Watch out, husband. She also says Derrick Henry wore number 30 at Alabama. He's a beast. And she said Bear Bryant wore the number 30 as well. And Uncle Alan wants to know what's your fantasy hockey team name?
Oh, for years it was Blades of Steel. Blades of Steel after the video game.
Yep, absolutely. Wouldn't be surprised if it was after a video game. All right, we're gonna get out of here. I'll be back. I'll be here on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. Dustin will be out of town, but he will be back next Tuesday for episode 32 of 2025. But in the meantime, follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. Also find our other podcasts and written articles on bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, you can find us wherever you podcast, and that includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. And also, don't forget to hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when we go live, when we have show announcements, when we have show clips. It's a great time. Follow us on social media. And as D's Rays Sunshine saying, great show. Thanks, guys. Thank you, D, for tuning in. Thank you for everyone who was in the comment section. We appreciate you. And again, on the podcast side, don't forget to rate, review, and comment. 5-star rating. Leave a review if you can. And also, if you're on Spotify and you're listening, or if you're on the Belly Up YouTube page, which is where this replay will be later, leave us a comment with which team, how your team did, how you feel your team did in the draft, who your favorite number 31 is, your opinion on Mel Kiper, what movies you can recommend to us in the future for no ticket required. So if you want to listen to our old shows on which movies we reviewed, go back in the archives. It's all right there. But yeah, rate, review, comment, all that good stuff. And we're going to get out of here. So thanks for tuning in to No Credentials Required, where you don't need to press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. We're two dudes looking for 98 other dudes to fight a gorilla. But I'll be back on Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. Dustin will be back next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And we will talk to you again very, very soon. So I'll be here on Saturday.
Good night, everybody.